Ultron's making a return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Borderlands box office numbers are some of the worst we've ever seen for a video game adaptation. Director of Alien Romulus makes a pitch for a new Alien vs. Predator movie. So much has happened this week.
But let's kick it off with James Spader returning as Ultron from Marvel's Vision Quest series.
The Lizard King himself is coming back. Praise Thor. We haven't seen him since Avengers Age of Ultron, and to like many people's dismay, I think they're going to be disappointed. But why? I really enjoyed that movie. It's one of my favorite Avengers films. What about you, Davis?
Yeah, I kind of think that movie is a little underrated. For the longest time, I didn't even realize that it was disliked by so many. I thought it was one of the more popular movies. And then over the years, I realized that a lot of people don't seem to like it, but it's one of my favorite MCU movies. Obviously, we know that Paul Bettany is returning to reprise his role as the Vision. We haven't seen him since the end of WandaVision, and obviously, in canon, we don't know if he knows what's going on with Wanda. Wanda died at the end of Doctor Strange 2, and I have a feeling that's what the show is going to be about. Him finding out how Wanda kind of turned evil, maybe finding out what's going on with his kids. And I'm very excited to see how they roll in Ultron, who is very fitting, obviously, to the character of Vision, into this show. Do people still care about this series? I mean, it feels like the MCU has gone so far away from where we were when WandaVision came out on Disney+. So I'm curious to know if people are actually looking forward to this series. Let us know in the comments below.
Have you seen the Deadpool Wolverine box office numbers lately?
Yeah, it's killing it. The highest grossing R-rated movie of all time now.
So that's cool for Deadpool Wolverine, but imagine on the flip side, if you worked on Borderlands, which cost $120 million to make, and 2 weeks in, is this right, Davis? $23 million worldwide.
Yeah, the second week had an insane 73% drop in box office numbers. It's crazy. That number is nuts.
When we actually saw that the first time, we didn't believe it. We had to check a couple sources. It's hard to believe how poorly received this movie is.
I can't remember last checking a blockbuster movie and seeing a number even close to that low. I feel like a bomb is like 30, 40, 50 million. 23 in 2 weeks is some next level low numbers.
I was actually really excited to find out that Eli Roth was directing this, and then finding out that it was a PG-13 movie told me everything I needed to know. There's casting complaints, characters that were portrayed rather differently than they were in the game.
Yeah, it kind of speaks a lot to the fact that Hollywood just cannot seem to find their footing when it comes to video game adaptations. I mean, you have like Sonic and Mario that created these original stories, but they still felt very tied to the lore that had already been created, and they were well written, and you can tell they were made by people who loved the video games. And then on the flip side, you have shows like Halo, where Master Chief is taking his helmet off, and that was a huge bummer to fans of the video game. And it just seems like people can't really decide in Hollywood if they want to follow what was made in the games or if they want to make their own original story. And also, it seems like whenever they make their own story, they don't make a very good story.
I think it shows like Last of Us, who did a perfect blend of new narrative, advancement to character development that wasn't found in the game, but they still sourced so much material from the game that appeased fans. And then even Twisted Metal with Anthony Mackie. Yeah, the narrative was rather different from the game because the game doesn't have much of a narrative, but they still sourced a tremendous amount that appeased video game fans and provided an audience with something unique that was excellent.
Are you being serious? I heard it was not good.
It got season 2. No, it got season 2
Wow.
option and everything. Yeah, it's fucking good, dude.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I really the only reason why I want to see Captain America is because of Twisted Metal, believe it or not.
Damn, okay.
I don't care about Anthony Mackie up until I watch that, and I'm like, oh, this guy's he can act.
It's like, it seems like the real no-brainer here is hiring people to work on these movies that actually give a damn about the stories. Like people that actually play the video games, bringing in creators to help craft the stories from the video games. Like it's right there. Why are we not just automatically assuming that we should bring in a director that's played the game or people who wrote the game to help write the story? Like, why is that not an automatic go-to? I don't know, but that's Hollywood for you.
And then we have a movie that just came out this last weekend. I went and saw it, Alien Romulus. And on the flip side to everything we just said, this movie perfectly paid tribute and straight up homage in multiple ways the original from 1979. Did you see it?
Yeah, no, I saw it. It's funny because last week we obviously didn't film a video because I was on a little beach vacation. I flew in at 8:30 and I wanted to see this movie so bad that I picked up my car from the airport. I drove to a movie theater that was like 15 minutes away from the airport, and I saw the movie on like 4 hours sleep because that's how excited I was. And it was amazing.
Collider's reporting that Alien Romulus has crossed over $50 million at the box office. Remember, just want to bring it back, Davis, because $25 million for Borderlands, $50 million in 1 weekend for Alien Romulus.
We need to also to say that $50 million is just domestic, but the 24 for Borderlands is international. The entire worldwide box office for Alien Romulus is 118 million in the first weekend. That number for Borderlands is after 2 weeks. So even crazier when you look at it like that.
Which is why I was super hyped to find out within 1 week, we're hearing Fede Alvarez being asked about the thing we're all thinking about. Where's Alien versus Predator? Especially one directed by such a fantastic director who just clearly knows what they're doing. And you gotta love that he mentioned possibly co-directing it with Dan Trachtenberg, the dude who brought Prey to the screen, which is my personal favorite Predator movie. But Davis, you disagree with me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm partial to the first Predator movie, and I really did like Predators. I think it came out in like 2003 or 2005. I think that movie is kind of underrated, but I really did like Prey. Dan Trachtenberg did a great job, and it is good to know that he's actually working on a follow-up to Prey. It's a new Predator movie that's set in the future, so he's sticking around in the Predator universe, and I hope that Fede Alvarez sticks around in the Alien universe. It would be really cool to see both of them come together and make a brand new Alien versus Predator adaptation. I think that'd be awesome.
Going from face huggers to Toy Story, D23 news, Davis. We have a full reveal of the Red Hulk. What do you think, man?
I think the CGI doesn't look amazing, but I think it's also early CGI. There's been a lot of Marvel movies where like the first looks at things were a little iffy at first, but I think it looks cool. I'm still very excited for this movie regardless. So I'm, whatever, looks cool.
I'm a little worried that when we see Harrison Ford as Red Hulk, we're not going to be able to like separate the actor from the character, and he's going to look goofy and make us want to laugh.
Yeah, you do get a surprising amount of Harrison Ford's face in the Red Hulk's face, which is kind of surprising because I feel like we never really got like in the Smart Hulk or the current Hulk, you can kind of see the Mark Ruffalo face, but in the original iteration of it, you couldn't really see a lot of Mark Ruffalo. So they're definitely going with a lot of the Harrison Ford facial features in this one.
We got an update kind of from the Fantastic Four. The actors, the first Marvel family, actually took time out of their acting schedule on set to say hi to everybody at D23. And we see Johnny Storm in his costume. And is this being met with poor reception? I think it's fine. What do you think?
I have a feeling that this is like an early iteration of the suit, like early in the movie before they really do anything too crazy. This is what they're wearing. And then we're going to, at some point in the movie, get their final versions of the suit. I think it looks, classic. It looks very simple. It's a fun early version of the Fantastic Four suit that I'm sure will change 900 times in production.
The more Fantastic Four I see, the more excited I'm getting for this film. I can't say the same thing about Riri's film or show, whatever's happening. Dude, Ironheart doesn't look great, man. I don't know. Like, there's parts of it that are kind of cool, but it looks... How'd you say it? You had a really good way you described it because, I'm a fan of Supernatural, so I like some CW shows.
I don't think that CW is necessarily a good thing to be compared to, honestly. I mean, I think, not that it's anything, if you like CW shows, nothing against it, but I think that like the MCU is definitely trying to be many steps, ahead of that. I think that this show has its moments where it feels very CW, and then it has some pretty cool MCU feeling moments. Like when she's shooting off in the suit, it feels very cool. You do get your first look at the hood, and you see a little bit of the magic. Obviously, the show's going to kind of be like technology versus magic, which is an interesting idea. So, I mean, I'm 50-50. I'm definitely going to be watching it. I don't have crazy high expectations, but I think it's got potential.
At best, Ironheart looks like it's going to be an average show. I don't think there's going to be people like counting down the days till this comes out, but I definitely think people are going to be waiting in anticipation for any more updates after seeing that Daredevil trailer. Can you believe that they're talking about this being more mature than the Netflix run?
Yeah, there was an interview with Vincent D'Onofrio where he said that while they were filming, there were scenes that he was like, there is no way that this makes the final cut. And then he saw the final cuts and he said that they're all still in there. So that bodes well. Obviously, there's still a lot of time between now and when the show comes out. But I am very hopeful, fingers crossed, that those violent action scenes stick in there. And also, Charlie Cox said that the big, like, long one-shot fight scenes that were very popular in Daredevil will be making a return in this series. So also good news.
We're seeing the full cast, and finally we get confirmation that Jon Bernthal is going to be part of Daredevil, but we all knew that. No surprise. The people that we were waiting on, though, is finding out updates on actor Eldon Henson, as well as Deborah Ann Wall, Foggy Nelson, Karen Page. You can't do Daredevil without those two characters. And it would be a shame if they recasted them. They killed it during the Netflix days.
Yeah, there's also talks that Kristen Ritter's going to be coming back. All of the original Defenders, but I don't think anybody wants Iron Fist back. Let's be honest. I doubt that Iron Fist comes back, but maybe the other people. It'd be cool if everybody came back.
We get a first look at a lot of different things. You notice the shot of all the different masks. You got the yellow mask, and maybe he's going to be switching them out during the show. But Daredevil's different looks are some of the coolest parts of his character design. We also get the Muse, which I don't know. Do you remember when we were in Canada that I asked Charlie Cox about the Muse being in the show? I don't even remember how I asked him, but I got him to say, who have you been talking to?
We were just chatting with him and you said, I can't wait to see the dynamic between you and Muse in the new Daredevil series. And he just shot you a look and was like, who have you been talking to, in a very panicky tone, and walked away. He was not trying to get taken out by the Disney snipers.
We got the first Puerto Rican in comic books making his debut on the screen in Daredevil. We see White Tiger finally getting his dues, and it's comic accurate. Like, for the most part, you see the medallion that makes him and gives him the powers. He's suiting up, and he actually looks pretty badass.
On top of White Tiger, we did get our first look at Wilson Bethel coming back as Bullseye. I think his fate was kind of left up in the air at the end of the Daredevil show. So it's cool that they're bringing him back in. We obviously saw John Bernthal on screen again with some fight scenes and some stuff like that. And the trailer ends with a little bit of a back and forth between Kingpin and Daredevil at a diner, basically talking about having to do some kind of team up. That'll be a cool dynamic. The show is going to be awesome, and I'm sure that myself, along with almost everybody else that likes the MCU, is looking forward to the show.
Now, Davis doesn't think we need to talk about Agatha, but I think we do. You got Aubrey Plaza as a witch, dude. It's going to be great. And there's not enough people hyped about Agatha all along. Whenever she was on screen during WandaVision, it was some of the best parts of the show. Has everyone forgotten, and is it because they've changed the name like 30 times?
I think that I was originally excited for Agatha all along. I was championing for Agatha all along. I was like, the show's going to be good. Give it a chance. And that first trailer came out, and then the clips from D23 came out, and I think it just looks kind of cheesy. I do like Aubrey Plaza. I do like more witch stuff. I like the vibe that they're going for. I just don't have very high expectations, unfortunately.
But that's all the superhero stuff, Davis. That's not why they're here. They're here for Lilo and Stitch.
I loved this movie growing up. I think this movie is something that they've talked about making for many, many years now. And I know there's been a lot of weird concept art and everything of what he would look like in live action. I think that they nailed the look of him. It's not a Sonic situation where he comes out as ugly Sonic and they got to go back to the drawing board. I think he looks cool.
But now let's actually hit him with some rapid fire news, because we have stuff and updates from Star Wars all the way to like James Cameron Avatar.
So yeah, jumping into Star Wars, we did get Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau out on stage talking about The Mandalorian and Grogu. We got some behind the scenes footage. We got some set photos, and we actually got the first full reveal of the logo, and I'm excited. It's them bringing Star Wars back to the big screen for the first time in a long time. So I'm looking forward to it.
Now, I've never watched Zootopia, but the marketing has me interested because it's pretty creative. They took like existing posters of movies that exist right now, like Deadpool, Wolverine, and they swapped them with animals. Have you seen this movie?
Yeah, I was a big fan of the first Zootopia. I think it was one of the best Disney movies that had come out in a while. I like the marketing they're doing with it. The posters are fun. And the only bit of news that we really got was that Ke Huy Quan, who's having a bit of a renaissance right now, he was in Goonies and Everything Everywhere All at Once, or whatever that movie was called. He's going to be voicing the main villain of the movie, which is going to be a snake. So that's going to be kind of fun. After that, we got some updates on Toy Story 5. It seems like this movie is basically going to be toys versus iPad kids. So interesting angle. It makes a lot of sense. Old school toys versus modern technology. Seems like a layup.
One thing that we know is going to be a slam dunk is that Incredibles 3 has finally hit production, and they got the original director, so it's in good hands.
And the biggest news that was broken at D23, drumroll please, we got Freakier Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. Let's talk about it.
No, let's not talk about it, dude. Actually, let's talk about Avatar Fire and Ash, the new name for the third James Cameron film.
I'm going to be honest, I have not seen the first two Avatar movies.
You've never seen the James Cameron Avatar?
Yeah, I don't know why. I've just never gotten around to watching them. And for some reason, it just doesn't really interest me. They've never really looked like my thing. So I've never really checked them out. But I mean, they're like some of the biggest movies ever, so I should probably get around to actually watching them. But anyway, we did get a name change. It was originally called Avatar the Seed Bearer, which wasn't the best title. So I think this is a much better name. We got the new logo. We got some concept art, and people seem excited about it.
No, they're actually like really good. You should absolutely watch them, and the audience should absolutely roast Davis Ryder in the chat.
Avatar Airbender is the superior Avatar franchise, in my opinion.
The M. Night one. That's the one you like.
The M. Night Shyamalan one, yep.
Which was your favorite bit of news that dropped? Did we miss anything? Let us know in the comment section below. And of course, as always,
Geek responsibly.
enough said.